A couple of months ago, I was feeling down. My YouTube channel was flopping in a terrible way, my job search was going awfully wrong, and basically it seemed like all of my professional plans were going down the drain. Since I'm not a person who likes to externalize her feelings, I was in dire need of something that allowed me to take all of that stuff out of my chest. So, for the first time in like 10 years, I decided to restart journaling. I always thought that daily journaling was an incredibly overwhelming project, so I've been running away from it for as long as I can remember. But I actually had a journal with prompt at home that I received in a PR package last year. It seemed pretty simple. It basically promised that journaling for 6 minutes every day, with 2 sessions of 3 minutes, one in the morning and one in the evening, would change your mindset. So I gave it a try. My only rule for this journaling thing was not feeling forced to do it. I skipped tons of pages at first because I couldn't form the habit. But at the same time, during this initial time when I had a bad day, I always remembered that I could now journal what was happening and what I was feeling. On uneventful days, I would forget all about it because writing down the trivial things of my day-to-day seemed like it didn't make any sense. The problem was that journaling started as a way to externalize my negative feelings, and that wasn't making me feel better, and most of all, wasn't a healthy approach. Only after a couple of weeks would I be able to start looking at the more positive prompts and start answering those. In due time, I started reaching some interesting conclusions. The fact that I had simple writing prompts forced me to reflect on what I was doing wrong in my life. Reading past entries also allowed me to get a certain degree of progress, even if that progress was simply understanding how my ideas evolved. Eventually, I found out that through journaling, I was able to work through my problems with no external help. It was like I had all the tools to solve my issues, but the lack of reflection and the lack of stopping to think and process events were things that were blocking me from achieving those solutions. Eventually, the importance of pouring my heart out was replaced by something even bigger, and that was gratitude journaling. I always felt that gratitude journals wouldn't work for me. I've always considered myself a pretty grounded and grateful person in general, so I thought that translating that into paper was simply a waste of time. However, I had a completely different result. I noticed that in the section called Things I'm Grateful For, I was repeating most of the items every single day. That repetition was basically creating a steady stream of priorities that even in the darkest days I was thankful for. I was thankful for being able to learn every single day, I was thankful for my family and friends, and I was thankful that I had a job that was creative and allowed me to teach, even if through an entertainment format. And that job allowed me to live a comfortable life. Those 3 items stood out in such a regular way that they started speaking to me. It was just like my main priorities were written down in stone in that journal, and that it was meaningless to chase after other menial, secondary goals that wouldn't make me feel as happy. In a sense, journaling allowed me to ground myself, to re-establish priorities, and understand why the heck I'm doing what I'm doing. The fact that I was using a journal with short prompts was the best possible way to fall in love with the habit without causing a huge strain on my schedule. I was journaling whenever I wanted, without tracking how many times I did it, and it was that organic way of doing it that helped me out the most. Eventually, I switched from writing down everything bad that happened and started focusing mostly on gratitude journaling, and in a certain way refocusing my actions and my work towards those 3 priorities that I mentioned. Right now, I'm a huge believer in journaling as a way to overcome a bad period in your life or simply realigning your priorities and purpose. My advice is to start as simple as you can get with a journal that already has prompts, since following directions is much easier than starting writing just for the sake of writing and then build up from there. If you want to know more about journaling, some tips and tricks and walkthroughs, you can find a bunch of lessons in Skillshare, who's sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 25,000 classes in dozens of different categories, and they can help you build new skills, develop new strategies, and learn more about anything you feel curious about. Skillshare's portfolio includes productivity and business masterclasses, tutorials on how to work with different types of software, language classes, art and design courses, and so on. But if you're watching this video because you want to start journaling too, you can start by watching the Ultimate Guide to Creative Planning and Journaling, and then complement that class with how to create your own journal or the 10-day journaling challenge class. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to all these incredible classes, so no individual payments required, and since Skillshare costs less than $10 a month for the yearly subscription, it's the perfect platform to continuously develop your skills. If you use the link in the description box, you can get your first 2 months of unlimited classes for free. I really hoped you enjoyed today's video. I know it was a little bit different, but maybe this inspired you to start journaling. I make videos on productivity, organization, and motivation, and I upload a video every single week. If you are interested in that, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye guys!